How often have you got confused about whether to charge CGST and SGST or IGST in your sales invoice? I'm sure quite a number of times. Under GST, goods or services will be taxed at the place where they are consumed and not at the origin. So the state where they are consumed will have the right to collect GST. Therefore, place of supply is crucial under GST as all the provisions of GST revolve around it. Further, you will be able to easily determine whether to charge CGST and SGST or IGST in your sales invoice if you can easily crack the place of supply provisions. I'm here to guide you through this decision making in this video with examples, so don't miss watching the video till the end. Hello and welcome, I'm Annapurna from Clear, India's largest tax and financial services platform. Team Clear serves more than 4 lakh growing businesses. Welcome back to our channel, and if you happen to be new here, I have an exciting announcement for new subscribers. We have an exclusive gift for you. It's a GST compliance calendar that will help you stay 100% GST compliant without any stress. So to claim it, subscribe to our channel and let us know in the form provided in the description below. Without further ado, let's begin decoding the place of supply provisions under GST. GST law defines place of supply, or widely referred to as POS, as the provisions of the place of supply given in Chapter 5 of the IGST Act, or the Integrated Goods and Services Tax Act. Upon checking IGST Act, Section 10 helps in determining POS for domestic transactions or transactions within India, whereas Section 11 provides information on POS for international or cross-border transactions such as imports and exports. Note that these provisions of the place of supply given under the IGST Act holds good and applies to taxpayers covered under the CGST Act and SGST Act as well. You must know that the place of supply for a particular transaction is an important factor to decide whether the transaction is an interstate supply, that is between two states or union territories, or intrastate supply, that is within the state or union territory. Accordingly, you can identify easily whether CGST and SGST must be charged or IGST must be levied in that invoice. If the supply is an intrastate one, then both CGST and SGST of equal rates shall be charged. Suppose GST rate on socks is 12%, then 6% is charged as CGST and the remaining 6% is charged as SGST. On the other hand, if the supply is an interstate one, then integrated tax or IGST will be charged. Taking my previous example, it will be 12% IGST charged on socks if purchased from a seller in another state. Let's now check how to determine interstate and intrastate supplies. Section 7 and Section 8 of the IGST Act defines what is an interstate supply and intrastate supply for goods respectively. Firstly, note that import of goods into India and export of goods out of India are interstate supplies. For imports, it says Section 7 subsection 2, supply of goods imported into territory of India till they cross the customs frontiers of India shall be treated to be a supply of goods in the course of interstate trade or commerce. Further, regarding exports, it states Section 7 subsection 5, supply of goods or services or both are exports where A, when the supply is located in India and the place of supply is outside India, B, to or by special economic zone developer or special economic zone unit, that is SEZ unit, C, in the taxable territory not being an intrastate supply and not covered elsewhere in this section. Next, on this list are domestic transactions. There can be both interstate and intrastate supplies. A supply transaction will be classified as interstate supply for goods if Section 7 subsection 1, the location of the supplier and the place of supply are in two different states, that is A, wherein you can have an example such as supplier in Karnataka and buyer in West Bengal, then B, two different union territories, for example, supplier in Lakshadweep and buyer is in Chandigarh, and C, a state and a union territory, for example, buyer is in Maharashtra and seller is in Delhi, subject to condition that section 10, place of supply of goods applies. A supply transaction will be classified as intra-state sales for goods if Section 8 subsection 1, the location of supplier and the place of supply of goods are in the same state or same union territory. For example, both buyer and seller is operating in Gujarat, subject to section 10, place of supply of goods. Now, let's see the various scenarios and determine the place of supply for goods involving movement from one place to another. Where it involves movement of goods, more commonly found scenario, then the place of supply will be place where movement of goods terminate or end and it is delivered to the buyer. In bill to ship to cases, based on third party's instruction where the goods are supplied to a recipient before or during the movement of such goods by the way of transfer of title in goods or the documents or in some other way, then place of supply is assumed to be where the third person who it is billed to has received the goods, and therefore the place of supply of goods will be principal place of the business of the third party and not actual place that it got delivered. Then in the third case, goods are on board a conveyance or vessel or train or aircraft or a motor vehicle. Then the location at which such goods are taken on board will be place of supply. Let me explain with examples. Mr. Raj of Mumbai, Maharashtra sells 10 TV sets to Mr. Vijay of Nagpur, also in Maharashtra. The place of supply is Nagpur in Maharashtra. Since it is in the same state, CGST and SGST will be charged. Taking next example, Mr. Raj of Mumbai, Maharashtra sells 30 TV sets to Mr. Vinod of Bangalore in Karnataka. The place of supply is Bangalore in Karnataka. Since it is different state, IGST will be charged. Taking another example, Mr. Vinod is travelling to Mumbai via train. The train starts in Delhi and stops at certain stations before Mumbai. Vinod boards the train at Vadodara, Gujarat, and promptly purchases lunch on board. The lunch had been boarded in Delhi. Now the place of supply here will be Delhi, and the GST to be charged is CGST and UTGST. The food items were loaded into train at Delhi, so the place of supply becomes Delhi. Another example, Anand in Lucknow buys goods from Mr. Raj in Mumbai, Maharashtra. The buyer requests the seller to send the goods to Nagpur, Maharashtra, where the godown is registered. Assume a different GST. In this case, it will be assumed that the buyer in Lucknow has received the goods and IGST will be charged. Place of supply will be Lucknow and GST to be charged will be IGST. Suppose Anand was also in Maharashtra and he asked Raj, a Maharashtrian, to send goods to his factory in Karnataka, also a different GST. What is the place of supply? Do let us know in the comments about the place of supply in this particular case, and I'm eager to find out your answers. Also comment clear if you find my explanation crystal clear. Don't worry if you have any doubts, just write them down in the comments and we'll attend to them at the earliest. Where the sale does not involve movement of goods, then the place of supply shall be place where the goods are located at the time of supply, that is at the time of ownership transfer. Secondly, where goods are assembled or installed at a site, then the place of installation or assembly shall be place of supply. Let me explain these with some examples. First example will be Sales Heaven Limited, Chennai opens a new showroom in Bangalore. Now it purchases a building for showroom from ABC Realtors registered in Bangalore, along with some pre-installed workstations. Place of supply shall be Bangalore and GST to be charged will be CGST and SGST. There is no movement of goods, that is the workstation, so the place of supply shall be the location of such goods at the time of delivery, that is handing over to the receiver, which is Bangalore. Taking another example, Strong Iron and Steel Limited, Jharkhand, asked Messrs. SAS Constructions of West Bengal to build a blast furnace in their Jharkhand steel plant. Place of supply will be Jharkhand and GST to be charged will be CGST and SGST. Although Measure SAS Constructions is in West Bengal, the goods, that is the blast furnace, is being installed at the site in Jharkhand, which will be the place of supply. Measure SAS Constructions will have to be registered in Jharkhand to take up this contract. They can opt to register as a casual taxable person, which will be valid for about 90 days, which can be extended by 90 more days on the basis of reasonable cause. Goods imported into India, the place of supply will be location of the importer, whereas the GST to be charged here will be IGST. Next, goods exported out of India, the place of supply will be location outside India, and GST on exports are eligible for refund. Let's take an example for export. Miss Anita, who is located in Kolkata, exports Indian perfumes to UK. The place of supply will be UK and GST here will be exempted. So friends, we have come to the end of this video. For more illustrations, don't forget to check out our article, the link of which is left in the video description. Now that you know how to easily crack the place of supply for goods under GST, make sure to save this video and do check out our complete GST tutorial playlist, the link of which is also left in the video description. We'll come up with more and more educational videos on GST, so if you find the video helpful, please support us by subscribing to our channel Clear, and don't forget to fill the form given in the video description to win your free gift. Thank you.